These days, Tucker Carlson is more than simply a man with a camera in his garage. He has grown significantly in size and, to be honest, wealth in 2025. Even while you may believe you know everything there is to know about the man who dominated cable news for years, his life is very different now than it was even 2 years ago. We're going deep today. We will examine the specific activities of his children in 2025, including the one employed at the White House. We'll explore his 2 enormous residences, have a look at his peculiar new studio, and discover how he finances it all. What you heard on the news should be forgotten. This is the true account of the Carlson way of life. Tucker kept his children out of the public eye for a very long period. According to him, fame is a burden rather than a gift. However, Buckley Carlson, his only child, has entered the political sphere head-on. By January 2025, Buckley is doing more than merely keeping an eye on politics. He is crafting the message for the nation's second most powerful individual. Vice President J.D. Vance has appointed Buckley Carlson as his deputy press secretary. This is very important. It implies that one of the main contributors to the writing and dissemination of comments from the vice president's office is Tucker Carlson's son. In January 2025, he began this position at the start of the new administration. However, this is not his first experience. Although Buckley has spent years advancing in Washington, D.C., her new position is a significant step up. Buckley was working hard on Capitol Hill before he reached the White House. He worked for years for a prominent member of the party, Representative Jim Banks, a Republican from Indiana. Back in 2019, Buckley began from the bottom as a press assistant and staff assistant. He didn't just happen to earn a prestigious position. He advanced quickly, but first he had to answer phones and take care of the little things. By 2021, he was Jim Banks' Director of Communications. That person is in charge of communicating with the media and selecting the congressman's public statements. It wasn't always easy sailing, though. A few years back, there was a lot of turmoil. Tom Emmer, another Republican lawmaker, is said to have said in 2022 that Buckley's employment was solely due to his father's background. Nepotism is the negative aspect of Washington. Tucker became enraged upon learning of this. According to reports, Tucker defended his son's diligence by yelling at Emmer over the phone. But Buckley showed he could withstand the heat. He continued to work with his head down. During a particularly hectic period when Representative Banks was vying for the Senate, he even provided assistance to Banks. At the age of 28, Buckley is already strolling through the Eisenhower Executive Office Building's hallways every day in 2025. He receives a salary from taxpayers and has an official government email. Buckley has also had significant turning points in his personal life. Kelsey Kilgore was the woman he married in May 2023. Kelsey is not an ordinary individual. She works as a consultant in the political sphere as well. A youthful power couple is emerging in Washington, D.C. Tucker frequently expresses his dislike of the Washington swamp, which makes it intriguing. However, his kid is currently a key figure in the midst of it. Tucker's 3 kids, Lily, Hoppy, and Dorothy, have made quite different decisions while Buckley is in the spotlight. They're really private. They won't be appearing on reality shows or attempting to be Instagram influencers. This is intentional. Tucker and his spouse, Susan, have put a lot of effort into protecting their daughters from the crazy nature of their father's business. First, let's discuss Lily Carlson. She is the crew's eldest member. She attended a prestigious college, just like her father. She received her degree from the University of Virginia. Being a top-tier institution, it demonstrates how important education is to the Carlson family. Although Tucker attended Trinity College, his children appear to like UVA. For the most part, Lily has kept her life offline. That is rather uncommon in a world where everyone shares everything. And Hoppy Carlson comes next. She attended the University of Virginia and is the second daughter. Like music, Tucker, Hoppy appears to be the one that truly enjoys being outside. According to documents we discovered, she was employed as a camp counselor at Fernwood Cove in Maine. She wasn't merely lounging. She oversaw the program for natural horsemanship. She was therefore instructing children in horse care and riding. The family's passion for Maine and the outdoors is a natural fit. She expressed her excitement to meet the campers in a letter, which reveals a very endearing and grounded aspect of the family that isn't often shown on television. Dorothy Carlson is the smallest. In a very unique way, she carried on her parents' legacy. She attended Rhode Island's St. George's School. In addition to being an extremely upscale boarding school, Tucker and his wife Susan met there as youngsters. Walking the same hallways where her parents fell in love must have been an incredible experience for Dorothy. In 2025, Dorothy is in her early 20s and is most likely completing her college education or beginning her first career. She avoids the news, just like her sisters. According to Tucker, the most significant aspect of his life is becoming a dad. He once said that if your children are there to hold your hand when you pass away, that's all that matters. He is really serious about his work. At one point, he even joked that he would be upset if one of his daughters ended up becoming a liberal politician he despises. Music, jokes aside, the family is really close. At home, away from the cameras, they spend a lot of time together. It is impossible to discuss Tucker Carlson's life narrative without mentioning his wife, Susan Andrews. They've been wed for more than 3 decades. A 30-year marriage is practically unheard of in the world of TV stars and celebrities. Tucker and Susan have been together since childhood, but these guys are typically on their 3rd or 4th bride by this point. Music, they first connected at St. George's School in the 10th grade. Furthermore, Susan's father served as the school's headmaster. It's a brave move. Dating the daughter of the principal. According to Tucker, he believed she was the cutest 10th grader in America when he first met her. He recalls that she walked with a bounce. Susan also recalls Tucker. According to her, he was dressed in khaki pants and a ribbon belt, which is now essentially the Tucker Carlson uniform. He seemed so joyful and hopeful to her. At 1991, they were married at the school chapel where they first met. It's a true story of a high school sweetheart. He has always had Susan by his side. Becoming the king of Fox News, being fired from MSNBC, being fired from CNN, and then being dismissed from Fox News. She is the family's pillar. There are many speculations concerning Susan's financial situation, so let's discuss it now. Tucker is an heir to the Swanson frozen food fortune, as you may have heard. Technically, that is accurate, but it's not that simple. The woman from the family that created TV dinners, Patricia Swanson, was married to Tucker's father. Susan is not in charge of a frozen food company, but she does come from an affluent family, music. A long time ago, the Swanson company was sold. Therefore, even if they undoubtedly have trust funds and family money, they don't have billions of dollars in liquid cash from selling turkey dinners. Instead, Tucker earned the majority of the money they spend today. Susan also assists with the day-to-day management of their lives. Susan was present when Tucker started the Tucker Carlson Network, or TCN. She contributes to the privacy of their personal lives. She seldom ever appears in interviews. In order to ensure that the girls in Buckley have a secure place to return to, she would rather remain in their residences in Florida and Maine. Tucker can go out and say wild things online and still have a normal life when he returns home because of her. Let's now examine their residences. Tucker Carlson divides his time between 2 very different universes in 2025. Let's head south to Boca Grande, Florida, first. One of America's wealthiest and most exclusive zip codes. Is this seaside town? Gasparilla Island is home to Boca Grande. It is the type of site where former presidents like George H.W. Bush used to go fishing and where golf carts are used instead of cars. It's old money. In addition to being quiet, music is pricey. In 2020, Tucker paid $2.9 million for his first home there. Music, it's not a huge mansion, but it's a lovely house. It has 4 bedrooms and is over 2,800 square feet in size. It has that vintage Florida vibe because it was constructed in the late 1960s. Music. There is a courtyard pool, cypress wood paneling, and terrazzo floors. Hidden behind lush vegetation and palms, it is extremely private. One dwelling, however, was insufficient. Tucker and Susan paid $5.5 million for the house next door in 2022. This was a really strong power move. They built a huge private complex by purchasing the neighbor's home. Constructed around the same period, the second house is a single-story residence with 3 bedrooms and 3 baths. Music: why 2 houses, then? This Florida property is a vacation destination in 2025. It's a headquarters. This is where Tucker shoots a lot of his winter footage. The entire enterprise shifts south when the weather in Maine becomes too cold. Due to rising prices in Florida, the aggregate worth of these 2 houses is now comfortably above $10 million. Tucker's lifestyle in Boca Grande is ideal. He enjoys fishing a lot, and the area is well known for tarpon fishing. Because the island is so remote, he can move about without being bothered by paparazzi. The bustling streets of Washington, D.C., where he had resided, stand in sharp contrast to this. He goes here to unwind, refuel, and strategize his next move against the establishment. Maine is for labor, while Florida is for leisure. The small Maine village of Bryant Pond, located in Oxford County, is Tucker's favorite spot on the planet. It is the center of his media empire in 2025, and he has been traveling there since he was a young child. It's a rough place. It's in the middle of the forest. It has nothing to do with luxury. It has to do with seclusion. Tucker owns a house next to the pond in the town of Woodstock. Although he has held land in the region for decades, he only purchased it in 2020. The home is a historic farmhouse. It is filled with hunting equipment and wood paneling. Music: it looks like a movie cottage. In 2024, Tucker began sharing a bizarre tale about this house. He says that when he was sleeping in his main bed, a monster attacked him bodily. He claims that he had bleeding claw wounds on his sides when he woke up. He even claimed that his pets and wife were asleep during the incident. He genuinely thinks it was a supernatural assault. This tale has made his primary residence renowned among his followers, regardless of your belief in demons. It heightens the mystery surrounding him as this wilderness warrior. However, a business is also located on the main property. In order to save him from having to travel, they actually constructed a professional TV studio inside an old barn on his property while he worked at Fox News. They arrived and demolished the studio when Fox dismissed him. They returned all of the equipment. Well, what was Tucker up to? He constructed his own. In actuality, the studio's story is quite dramatic. The local newspaper, the Sun Journal, published an article about Tucker's attempt to purchase an Old Town garage in Bryant Pond for $30,000 in 2019 with the intention of converting it into a studio. Tucker became quite anxious that his residence would be discovered. He became irate, canceled the order, and even advised his audience to research the reporters who covered the incident. The argument was messy. His studio was eventually constructed, although it was on his own property. He will film his show on X here in 2025. A wooden table, and a wood background make up the basic set. He appears to be speaking to you from a log cabin, which is essentially what he is doing. His brand now heavily incorporates this woodchopping look. He wants you to think of him as a tough individualist who lives distant from the New York City towers. It's not as simple as you may believe that Bryant Pond residents would be thrilled to have a famous person visit. Bryant Pond is a tiny area. The town in question has a population of less than 1,300. He is adored by several residents. He is just a typical guy to some who see him at the local shop or the library, but he is disliked by others. He is said to be divisive in the eyes of some of his neighbors. The attention he brings to their little community bothers them. There have even been rumors that he has been ignored or that individuals have damaged his stuff. People in Maine cherish their privacy. It can also be irritating to have a guy who sparks political debate and millions of views. Tucker, though, appears unconcerned. He has done much research. He enjoys being alone. He expresses his distaste for the city's cacophony. He can write his scripts, go to the sauna, and cut wood in solitude in Maine. It is his stronghold. Let's now discuss what he drives. "I'm not a car guy," Tucker has often stated. He stated in previous interviews that he only rode his bike and didn't even own a car. However, living in rural Maine is impossible without a truck. You simply cannot play music. Tucker has been driving a Ford F-350 every day for years. This construction truck is enormous and heavy-duty. This type of truck is used to tow tractors or move logs. It is a fantastic fit for his image as a man of the people. It is robust, noisy, and diesel-powered. However, a new car joined the fleet in 2024. Tucker was given a Tesla hybrid vehicle to examine by Elon Musk, the billionaire owner of both Tesla and X. It's a spaceship in comparison to the Ford. Tucker made the decision to test it out in the forest. He did more than simply drive it to the supermarket. It was taken to a sawmill by him. He urged Patrick Funny, a mechanic in the area who drives a Ford F-350, to be truthful about the electric truck. They pounded on it. They maneuvered it across difficult terrain. They pulled big loads. To demonstrate that the truck was bulletproof, Tucker even pulled out a revolver and fired at the side music. The decision? In fact, they enjoyed it. The power impressed the local loggers. Tucker acknowledged that it was unsightly, but he appreciated the engineering. In 2025, Tucker may be seen driving through Bryant Pond in a bright steel Cybertruck that seems like it belongs in a science fiction film. The truck is parked next to his beaten-up Ford F-350. It is the ideal representation of his life. Modern money and technology meet traditional beliefs. Are you skeptical of the clickbait you've seen online about him being a Lamborghini driver? He doesn't do that. A Lamborghini would become stuck in the mud in 5 minutes in Maine. Instead of Italian sports cars, his garage is filled with trucks and tools. Now let's look at the numbers. What will Tucker Carlson's true wealth be in 2025? There is a lot of music. His estimated net worth ranges from $30 million to $50 million. Given the valuation of his new media company, some believe it could be even higher. This is how he arrived. He reportedly earned $20 million a year while working at Fox News. That sum of money is ridiculous. He spent years doing that. He left with a huge sum of money, even after paying his agents and taxes. With that money, he was able to launch his own network without requiring a loan and purchase his residences outright. Everyone believed he would lose his wealth and power after leaving Fox. He did the exact opposite, though. On his website, he introduced the Tucker Carlson Network, or TCN, a subscription service. Fans can watch his stuff for $9 a month or $72 a year. Let's do a little math. On X, Tucker has more than 11 million followers. Even a small portion of them, let's say 200,000 people, would subscribe to his $72 plan annually, which would generate over $14 million in revenue from subscriptions alone. Additionally, he is not required to disclose that to a supervisor. It's his business. He earns money from advertising as well. Public Square, a marketplace for conservative companies, is one of his supporters. Additionally, Twitter gives creators a cut of the money made from video ads. Tucker probably receives a good monthly check from Elon Musk because his videos receive millions of views. His investments come next. There's more to Tucker than simply hoarding cash. Music, his stock and bond holdings are believed to be worth about $12 million. And keep the inheritance in mind. His family enjoys a safety net that most people can only imagine, despite the fact that he did not get a check directly from the Swanson sale. He is considerably more deadly to his adversaries because he is not required to work. Music, he works for his own sake. What does Tucker Carlson's normal day entail in 2025? It is remarkably well organized. He's not having a party. He lives in the woods almost like a monk. Music, he gets up early. He reads a great deal. He spends his mornings preparing scripts for his monologues and reading books and news from around the globe. He still writes with the care and attention to detail of a print journalist. Then there are the tangible items. He cuts wood. He actually heats his sauna with it. Music, the sauna is his obsession. He makes use of it nearly daily. He claims that it keeps him healthy and helps him think clearly. He might take his dogs for a walk in the woods after the sauna. He goes to the studio to begin the workday. He's not in a rush to meet at 8 p.m., no longer a deadline. He records lengthy interviews. Music, he speaks with individuals such as Russell Brand, Alex Jones, and Elon Musk. He is slow. Occasionally, the interviews last 2 or 3 hours. He wants to talk about more than simply sound bites. It's all about family in the nights. They eat dinner together while the daughters are there. Only the family is present, there are no cameras or reporters. The loop is closed. Nearly no one else has the same level of trust as them. He is able to withstand the ongoing criticism from the media because of this seclusion. Only the ones he loves are allowed inside the wall he erects around his life. Tucker Carlson accomplished something in 2025 that very few people in the media have ever done. He was let go from the biggest TV job. Furthermore, he did not vanish. He grew larger. He became wealthier and more influential. He has created a life that is absolutely impenetrable. His son is assisting in the administration of the nation in the White House. His enterprise is run by his wife. He has a compound in Florida where he can live like a king and a castle in Maine where he can say whatever he wants. In his dream, he battles demons while operating a Cybertruck in the mud. Indeed, he is divisive, half of the nation supports him, while the other half opposes him. However, Tucker Carlson doesn't give a damn about your opinion in 2025. Music, he is the one with the keys to the world he has built. Being the patriarch on his own, he is not going anywhere.